into my office early in the morning. Someone had murdered the Lady of the Lake. Oh, who am I? I'm a cop. Yeah, sort of. Actually, I'm a Royal Inquisitor, and I have a badge to prove it. My beat is the mean streets of Camelot. On the surface, it appears idyllic, romantic, some might say. But there's a darker side, a seedier side, a side I see every day, and I have the photos to prove it. I also serve as Chief Inquisitor of the Shadow Council, a council of powerful immortals whose members include Merlin, Morgan le Fay, Queen Guinevere, Sir Lancelot, Captain of the Wardens, and the deceased Ninian, the Lady of the Lake. I was finishing up a double shift when the call came in. It was a hysterical dance of the Lady of the Lake. She had found Ninian dead, beheaded. I wasn't surprised. No one liked her. What did surprise me was why it took someone so long to off the witch. Got my coat and headed to the council's secret chamber. It's going to be a long night. It always was a medium on the Shadow Council. Tonight's going to be longer than most. Punishment for this crime is death.
Oh, I hate that woman.
Were you talking about Amber?
What do you think, Alyssa? I'm talking about my chat, the Lady of the Lake.
I heard the two of you arguing again last night. Honestly, Amber, I don't know why you put up with it.
What choice do I have? The Shadow's Council decision is final. They decide for itself.
Maybe you could ask the Shadow Council for a reassignment?
It's not that simple, Alyssa. When a warden is chosen to protect an immortal, the council casts binary spells that bind the warden to the charge and attend it to a forever link. This spell allows mental communication between the warden and the immortal, and it allows the warden to know when their charge is in danger. Besides, to reverse this binary spell is a painful process, one the warden, who is almost forced to cut their tongue. Only the death of an immortal can free the warden from their charge, and this can only happen until wait. On Halloween, the one night of the year in which a immortal becomes mortal, all being enslaved with an artifact, such as the one the council has entrusted to me. Excalibur. You're not going to stand with me until the day I die.
I just think it's wrong that Ninian treats you no better than a scullery maid. Surely the council must be able to do something.
What can they do?
I don't know, but it must be able to do something.
Do something about what? Hello, Ash. Hi, Emma. I'm glad you're here. I wanted to thank you for what? Last night? What last night? You, me, the first kid, Rob. And I don't remember that. What do you mean you don't remember? It was the best night of my life. If you say so. I can't believe you don't remember. It was great. It was so very. How come I don't remember? No, you're just being cool. Seriously, Amber. I wish I could remember, but I don't. Okay, so what do you remember last night? Last thing I remember, I was with Alyssa. Queen Guinevere and Lancelot had disappeared, and, well, Alyssa was frantic. As Queen Guinevere's warden, she couldn't sense if the Queen was in danger, and she wasn't responding to any mental calls either. I'll bet. Anything else? No, that's it till this morning. Maybe that's also what wanted you to remember for some reason. Maybe. I just wish I could remember. How was it? Fantastic. No, I really wish I could remember.
Oh, I'm sure we'll come back to you.
I hope so. By the way, what were the two of you talking about before I came in? Ninian. What about it?
We were wondering why the council puts up with him. What's up with whom?
Helen!
Didn't think I was that difficult to get along with.
Don't look at me. I think it's impossible. We weren't talking about you.
Good to know. And how is my young warden this evening?
Okay, I guess. We weren't expecting council, so nothing's been prepared.
So it would seem.
We interrupted something.
No, not at all, Morgan. We were just making small talk until the council arrived.
Yes, well, as you can see, we're here. So share whatever we talk about from there and in. If it wasn't important, we'll be the judge of that. I believe in her and ask a question which requires an answer. We were talking about it in the end. What about her?
Queen Guinevere, Sir Lancelot.
Alyssa, how are you, beautiful?
I am well, my queen. Thank you, Rose.
It's nice of you to join us.
It's always a pleasure to see you too, Morgan.
Where have the two of you been? Taking over like the garden. Is that all?
Does it matter?
It does the two of you doing annual secretary reviews. You know the laws of the council. Any fraternization among council members is strictly forbidden and grounds for expulsion from the council.
We know the laws, Morgan. We help write.
If I remember correctly, the two of you got a little bit of trouble following the law. Are you accusing us of something? I'm just saying left doesn't change its spots.
Settle down, everyone. No one is accusing anyone of anything here. Guinevere, you need to stop acting so defensive. It makes you appear you are guilty of something. And Morgan, you need to keep that venomous tongue of yours in your head.
Before someone cuts it out.
Is that just correct, Lancelot? You think that CARPIO will be sent from my mind?
The power of God will always defeat the darkness, Morgan. And he has imbued beauty. And he has imbued you with his divine lights.
Tell me something, Lancelot. How is it that God who calls adulterous sinners makes one his champion?
A penitent man will always find salvation from God.
How is it, bro? Anytime you want to find out which of the two is more powerful, just find it.
Enough! The laws of this council clearly forbid its members from using their powers against each other. To do so means certain death to the offender by stripping them of their immortality. Isn't that a little harsh?
Maybe, but each member of the council wields great power, and if we start using it against each other, the devastation we would cause would be catastrophic.
A little dramatic, don't you think?
Well, of course you'd say that. I seem to recall that you and Liliane were the only ones not in favor of that law.
I'm still against it. So too, I believe. It is Ninian.
Speaking of the Lady of the Lake, where is she? All the other council members are here, so where could she be?
She's waiting to make an entrance. You know how she loves to be the center of attention. That brings us back to the discussion the three of us were having earlier.
Which was?
Why the council is still puts up with Ninian?
Oh,
Ascension and rank sightseeing. Be careful, Warden. Careful, little Warden. You are Ninian's Warden. It is your job to protect her. No matter how you feel about her. It is your deep. I know what my responsibilities are more now, but there isn't one person on this castle who hasn't suffered at the hands of the Lady of the Lake at one time or another.
that's ridiculous.
Is it? How many times did Ninian try to fought to be careful? Too many. Hell, too many.
What about me?
Have you forgotten all the time she's done with this stuff?
Of course not.
Why don't you? Your Highness? Was it Ninian who pushed you and Lancelot together? He tried calling into your exciting color.
That's because she wanted Arthur for herself.
And what about you, Lancelot? It was Ninian who, after putting you and Guinevere together, exposed your relationship with Arthur's school. It makes me feel you to declare war on Arthur, bringing power at the round table.
I loved Arthur. I would have taken the secret of mine and Guinevere's love to the grave. I would have never betrayed him.
But you did. You both did.
The point is, Ninian has got each of you and told me that this is a hair on this council. Why?
Ninian is a powerful sorceress, Amber. By allowing her on the council, she is bound to the same laws as we all are. It allows the council to keep her in check.
I still think the council would be better off without her. The council? Okay.
Be careful what you wish for, young warden. Especially when your charge has just been found murdered.
Ninian's been murdered? How?
Someone used Excalibur to behead her. The artifact entrusted to you by this council, Amber.
I didn't kill her.
When did it happen?
Around midnight. And after listening to all of you, it's clear someone here murdered the Lady of the Lake. And as the council's chief inquisitor, it is my responsibility to find out who did it and enforce the law this council has set down. As you know, the punishment for this crime is death. Let's begin by establishing the whereabouts of each of you at the time of the murder. Starting with you, Amber.
I didn't kill her.
Did you not make the comment that the Shadow Council would be better off without her?
Yes, but I didn't want her dead.
What was the nature of your relationship with Ninian?
I was a warden.
Did you two get along?
No.
Why not?
Because she was a witch. She treated me no better than Scanner me. You will think that she would have treated me with an more respect. I was appointed her protector. I swore not to give up my life if need be to save her. I would have thought that had meant something. But it didn't. But as long as she did, I was bound to her.
Then I don't need to remind you that once you're bound to immortal, you're bound to him for life. Unless that immortal is somehow killed. Now with Ninian dead, you're free of her. You have motive, access to the murder weapon. In my book, that makes you look pretty suspicious.
I know how it looks, but I'm telling you I didn't kill Ninian.
Do you know how many times I've heard that?
Look, I may not have liked Ninian, but I was bound by this concept to protect her, and that's what I did.
Until last night. Tell me, the charge? Why did you send Ninian's flight?
I don't know. I only know I didn't kill her.
Then how do you explain the fact that she was killed with the artifact you were entrusted to protect her with, Excalibur?
I can't explain it. Look, Excalibur was in my room. Anyone could have taken it.
Did you leave it unattended?
No!
Where is it now?
I don't know. It was there last night. I woke up this morning. It was gone. I looked for it everywhere. And now you're telling us it was used to kill Lydia?
Where were you? Around midnight?
What you doing?
Hello?
No.
Who was with you?
Ash.
Is this true?
I guess this.
Well, you don't know.
I mean, I don't remember. Oh, we made love, Ash. I can't believe you don't remember.
I'm just having a hard time believing it.
Why?
Listen, I'd like you, but not in that way. I'd not knowingly make love to you. But my heart belongs to somebody else.
Oh, let me guess, Alisa.
This is the first I've heard of any of this.
Oh, please, they have eyes. I've seen the two of you making out when you think no one else is around.
It's not my fault. He came on to me.
Oh, don't you think?
Listen, Amber, you're my friend. If I knew how you felt about Ash, I would have stayed away.
Don't tell me you don't think he's hot.
Sure, he's cute.
And the both of you, stop talking about me like I'm not here. And by the way, it was Alyssa who came on to me.
Enough! Just so we're clear, you say you and Ash made love on bearskin rug in your room. But Ash just remembered the encounter. That while you were making love, someone slipped into your chambers, stole Excalibur, used it to behead Ninian, and left it behind to implicate you. Is that about it?
That doesn't make right
Huh. That story has more holes than the Swiss cheese.
But it's the truth.
Then how do you explain the fact that Ash doesn't remember making love to you?
In case you haven't noticed, he's not one of the sharpest swords in the armory.
Even a dull-witted man would remember making love to a pretty girl.
Maybe. Ash was on kind of some spell.
Still doesn't explain why Amber couldn't communicate with Ninian, or how she was killed with Excalibur.
When you are in the throes of passion, you are oblivious to everything around you.
You should know.
Jealous.
Don't lie yourself.
Guinevere might be onto something. Someone could have used a spell to mask her abilities. Our laws only forbid us from using our powers against each other. They do not include our wardens.
So that narrows it down to just about everyone in this room. Each of us have the abilities needed to kill Ninian, including Alyssa.
What?
Don't any of you look so surprised. I've known for quite some time what it is to teach a warden magic. Enchantments and illusions only. Ninian knew it too. She was going to expose the secret of council tonight.
So what? What's the big deal?
The big deal, my dear, is it's forbidden for an immortal to teach any of their warden's magic. Any of their magic. To do so is a grievous offense, and otherwise spoiled from the council.
Why?
Because, as Merlin said, the laws of this council, laws that apply to us immortals, do not apply to our charges. A warden trained in the use of their mortal charges magic could be used to attack another immortal. Like what? Maybe her ladyship found out about Minnie's plan to expose her. Or maybe it was something else.
Like what?
I think you know.
Where were you in the time of murder Queen Guinevere?
I was taking a walk in the garden.
Were you alone?
No, she wasn't.
And you know this because...
I was with her.
Lancelot, don't do this.
Oh, for the love of God! Didn't you two learn your lesson the last time you were exiled for an illicit affair?
We love each other, Merlin.
And we're not going to apologize for what we've done. Because according to the rules of fraternization, you are forbidden to do that just when you're immortal. Yesterday was Halloween, the only night of the year that we're immortal. Oh, what a couple of saps you two are. Aha. At least we have each other, but you have no one afraid.
We're getting off subject here. Now, Morgan, you said that Ninian had learned the truth about Queen Guinevere. What truth?
The truth, her ladyship, is imposter. What do you mean? I mean, imposter.
What Morgan means, Amber, is that there are two Guineveres.
Two? What it is?
You're saying
That's right, little boy.
people. Now, Ash, I know this is going to be difficult for you, but anyways. Now, I believe we need an explanation here.
Queen Guinevere and I have the same father, King Laodegan. My mother was King Laodegan's seneschal's wife and a former maid of King's wife. And after he joined the lady in the court, the king started to lust at her.
As the story goes, King Leodegan sought out his wife after making love to his own wife, warning goer, and then, what do you know, the two Guineveres are half-sisters, conceived on the same night, born on the same day, and they look exactly alike. Only it's King Leodegan and his wife's daughter who became queen.
And Lancelot's lover. Everything my sister had should have been mine after what that monster did to my mother and father. They died fighting the Irish.
It was she who later caused the separation between Arthur and his real queen. She was the one who posed as his real queen and wife and convinced Arthur that his beloved Guinevere was actually an impostor.
Arthur loved me.
Only because you brewed him a love potion and gave it to him.
A minor detail.
She tried to get Arthur to execute the real Guinevere.
I would have succeeded too if you wouldn't have interfered.
I challenged 3 of her best knights to a trial by combat. If I beat them, she agreed to leave Arthur and Guinevere alone.
What happened?
Well, obviously I won, you witless boy.
Later, she confessed to her crimes after being struck down by a mysterious disease. Instantly, or incidentally, sorry, I'm going old. A disease of my own design, my indeed.
So, how did Ninian know that she's a fake Guinevere?
Okay, so the real Guinevere has a birthmark of a king on her back. This false one doesn't. Ninian told me that she walked in on Guinevere was bathing and saw that the birthmark wasn't there. Ninian confronted Guinevere and told her that she intended to expose her as an imposter if she did so with Lancelot.
I can't believe I made love to you.
No, but you were so boy. You were great.
Can anyone other than the two of them give them an alibi for where they were at the time of the murder?
We can.
You and who?
Ash.
Ash. Seriously, the boy can barely even remember his own name.
We were in the garden when we came upon him.
Is that true?
Sort of.
Well, either you saw them or you didn't. It's not that complicated.
Consider the source here. We saw them, sure, but it wasn't midnight.
How do you know that? You can't even remember making love to a pretty girl.
I don't know how I know, I just do. When we found them, the clock in the clock tower struck 11:30. And plus, how could I have seen them at midnight if I was, as Amber claims, otherwise occupied at the time?
So, if what you're saying is true, one of them could have snuck back into the castle, stolen Excalibur, used it to kill Ninian, and returned to the arms of their lover?
It's a theory. Not likely unless they're both in on it together.
I can't believe I'm going to ask you this, but do you remember anything else?
No.
Of course. I take it you remember the same thing the Memory King here does?
Yeah, of course. I was with him.
The more I learn about this case, the more complicated it gets. I suggest we all take a few moments to clear our heads. I would also suggest no one strays too far. Let's go over what we know so far. Ninian's found dead, beheaded, killed with their sword Excalibur, which was given to Herborn and Amber to trust. Amber, who, by her own words, said that the Shadow Council would be better off without Ninian. Then we learn that Queen Guinevere isn't Queen Guinevere, but her half-sister who's been teaching Herborn Alyssa magic, a serious infraction of the Council's laws, and if brought to light would mean expulsion for the false queen. Well, that and of course the fact she isn't the real Guinevere. But then, testimony from Alyssa and Ash puts Guinevere in the garden with Lancelot at or about the time of the murder. Do you see anything else?
No. But I heard something.
What did you hear?
Ninian and Morgan, they were having an argument on the balcony outside Ninian's chamber.
Oh, you should learn to mind your business, little woman.
What was the argument about?
Why
It
don't you
was
ask?
just
Ask her.
Go on, then, what was the argument about?
a disagreement.
About Lancelot.
What's it about Lancelot?
Oh, she's in love with him. She always has been. That's the reason why she hates you. She wants Lancelot for herself.
What did Ninian do?
She She threatened to have me expelled from this council. She knew about her bell rang somehow. She told me to stay away as I was some lovesick schoolgirl.
Sounds like female plans to make less of another one of the conflicts.
I doubt it,
Why is that?
because she's my mother.
Thanks, sir.
Quiet! Let me conduct this investigation. What do you mean Ninian's your mother?
Not my real mother. Ninian raised me after the death of my real father because my mother was so grief-stricken by my father's passing that she neglected me. I never knew my name or those of my parents because Ninian would not tell them to me while I lived with her. Even now, she still treats me like a child.
There's more to it than that, Imugo, isn't there, Lancelot? Father comes from us here, Taylor. I think once you hear the rest of his story, you'll understand his motive for wanting to see me at that too.
She should have left us alone.
What happened?
Years later, after I reunited with my mother, I learned the truth. Ninian was in love with my father. She proclaimed her love for him, and he spurned her. Angered, Ninian looked for an opportunity to get back at my father for his slight. At the time, Arthur was busy with his war against rebellious nobles, and while Arthur was otherwise preoccupied, Claudius, king of the wasteland, seeked retaliation against my father and uncle, King Bors, for his defeat at the hands of Uther Pendragon and King Aramont, who was then king of Brittany. During the war, my father and uncle were actually vassals of King Aramont, but it was in Claudius that Ninian saw an opportunity to get back at my father. She seduced my father's seneschal into betraying my father into Claudius's army, and that treacherous seneschal opened up the gates to my father's last castle and let the enemy in. And after that last castle fell into the hands of the enemy, my father died of grief.
What happened after you learned the truth?
I confronted her. I told her I hated her for what she's done, and that I would never forgive her for what she's done to my family, and refused to have anything more to do with her.
Hate her enough to kill her?
No, of course not. After my father's passing, Ninian tried to make amends. She told my father's godson, Bannon, about what the treacherous seneschal had done. He killed him in a duel.
This was hardly an act of kindness, was it? Ninian had set the child killed so that he could not reveal her body of father to his mummies. Maybe, just maybe, only Ninian's death would truly avenge the wrong that she did to the family.
Lancelot didn't kill me. Neither did I. We spent the night together.
Right. Let's get back to your argument with Ninian on the balcony, Morgan.
Just a difference of opinion on a few things. That's all.
It was more than just a difference of opinion. Ninian knew that you intended to kill Guinevere today. That's what she had over you where Lancelot was concerned. She was going to expose the treacherous plot to the council if you didn't agree to every demand. As Guinevere's warden, it is now my duty to expose this plot to the council.
Is this true, Morgan? You plan to murder Guinevere?
That's ridiculous.
Is it? Ninian knew that you were going to give a gift to Guinevere, one that was supposed to be a peace offering, but would end up getting rid of Guinevere once and for all. Once she was out of the way, then you could go after Lancelot, because you know that as long as Guinevere was alive, Lancelot would love nobody else. Ninian never approved of the relationship between Guinevere and Lancelot, but she would never let you get your claws into him.
I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about the amber mantle.
The amber mantle.
What is the amber mantle?
When Arthur returned after his battle with Athel on the Gaul, Morgan sent one of her damsels with a beautiful amber and gem-encrusted mantle to him as a token of peace. Ninian at the time was serving as his advisor. She suspected Morgan of some form of treachery and so advised Arthur not to wear the robe, and he forced the damsel to wear it instead. The poor girl died instantly as the mantle was placed around her shoulders, and she instantly burned to death.
Plotting the death of an immortal is, I believe, grounds for expulsion from the Shadow Council.
It sounds like a pretty good motive for murder.
Except I didn't kill her. Our conversation ended abruptly when Merlin came in.
Ninian and I were going over plans for this evening's council meeting.
I think it was a bit more than that.
Were you spying on us?
Couldn't help myself.
What happened?
Do you want to tell, or
private matter.
You went to Professor's love for her. Again.
What do you mean again?
I first met Ninian when we were young in the forest of Briosk. At the time, I had fallen for her charms, which were irresistible. Later, I would meet her as an adult, and I fell madly in love with her.
You really must have after that. It's really quite pathetic. Followed her everywhere.
She promised to love me if I taught her everything I knew about magic. Hey, I even built her a domain, a palace by the lake. And I made it so that when anyone passed by the lake, they would see just that, the lake, and nothing more.
When Ninian decided to return to her castle on the lake, Merlin decided to accompany her. Who came to seduce her?
How'd that work out for you?
Not well. When we returned to her home, she used the magic I had taught her to entomb me in stone.
How did you escape?
My sister Ganeda, she possessed the power of divination, the gift of second sight. She discovered my whereabouts and set me free.
You didn't learn your lesson, did you? You went to Ninian's chamber ago, like once more, to proclaim your love for her.
She laughed at me, called me an old boom who she could never love, confessed the only reason that she pretended to love me was so that I would teach her magic and she would use it to separate me from Arthur.
I'm guessing this latest rejection also didn't settle well with you.
Of course it didn't. It made me angry.
Angry not to kill her?
Oh, don't be ridiculous. It's true. I would have liked to see Ninian pay for her indiscretions, but I didn't, and I don't believe that any of us immortals would.
Why is that?
Because of the disparity of such an act.
If any immortal willingly kills another, they are stripped of their immortality, never to gain that status again, and eventually dying.
So, where does that leave us?
What about Alisa?
What about Alyssa?
Yes, what about me?
Morgan isn't the only one to have an argument with Ninian last night. Alisa did too. I overheard them when I was walking by Ninian's chamber.
What was the argument about?
Ash.
Me?
Oh, gee, child. This has been one of my favorite and everything else. Maybe she's hiding something.
Perhaps she is. How about it, Alyssa? Did you and Ninian have an argument?
Alyssa, now is not the time to keep quiet. Your silence could be seen as an actions of a guilty person.
Look who's talking. Yes, did have an argument with Ninian.
About what?
Ash.
We've already established that. What about Ash?
I saw how she looked at him. She wanted him. Ash even told me that she propositioned him.
Is this true, Ash?
Yes, it is.
Well, what happened?
She decided to become me. She's angry and told me that if I didn't agree to be with her, that well, she would see to it that Alyssa was cast out of the shower council while we were here. She told me that one way or another I would belong to her.
So, what happened after Ninian left you alone?
Alyssa came in. I told her about what happened and, well, she said that she would handle it.
Brings us back to you, Alyssa. What did you do then?
I confronted her. I told her to stay away from Ash or else I would find some way to make her life a living hell. Everyone on the council has a dark secret that would lead to that expulsion from the council. I was determined to find hers.
Did you have any meaning of that?
Till now.
So you could have resulted to the only option open to you. Murdering her.
Don't be absurd. Amber protected her. She may not have liked Ninian, but she protected her. No one was going to get anywhere near her without first going through Amber and Excalibur.
Unless Amber was otherwise preoccupied, as was apparently the case with her love-making session with Ash. Look, there is so much for me to think on and sort through. I need time to figure out everything and process. I'm going to return shortly with my conclusion. The rest of you, please, do not stray far. This case has me baffled. Really, not quite sure what's going on. Everyone's sleeping with each other. It's a mess. I'm going to need your help. Who do you think did it?
Lancelot.
Yeah, he did it.
Well, at least we've got one helpful person here today. Thank you.
Well done.
You did it.
Now I must confess, this is one of the most baffling cases I've ever been involved with. It's clear all of you had reasons for wanting Ninian dead. Merlin, because you spurned your love. Morgan, because you was planning to expose your treachery against Guinevere. Lancelot, to get revenge for her husband death of his father. Guinevere, because she was going to expose you as an imposter. And then there are your wardens. Amber hated Ninian. Hated how she treated her, and who, by her own words, said that the Shadow Council would be better off without her. Ash, because he wanted no part for advances on him, and because he threatened to have the love of his life kicked out of the Shadow Council. And then there's Alyssa.
Me? Why would I want to kill Ninian? I hardly had any dealings with her.
For the simplest reason of all,
And what would that be?
love.
Love for whom?
Ash, that's why you killed Ninian. You're clever, I'll give you that. You're plotting and scheming to put even Morgan to shame.
Not following any of this.
Then let me spell it out for you. When Ash came to you and told you what Ninian had said to him, and that she threatened to have you and Guinevere kicked out of the council, you knew something had to be done. If the council learned of Guinevere's transgression in teaching you magic, you know what that would mean. Exile for you and her. It would also mean you would never see Ash again. You weren't going to let that happen. It was at that point that you decided Ninian had to die. But how to do it? That was your problem. And then it came to you. Amber and Ash.
Ash.
I don't believe it. I won't believe it.
It's blind, Ash. Just as well. Of course you don't want to believe it. You put this little bitch on a pedestal. She never loved you.
Yes, I did. I do. You have to believe me, Ash. I love you with all my heart. I love you so much it hurts. I only did it to protect you.
Technically, who?
Them.
Them? Who are you talking about, Alyssa?
Amber and Ninian.
Me. Alyssa, I don't understand. I thought we were friends.
I was never your friend, Amber. I only pretended to be your friend so I could learn all of your dark secrets. The only problem is you don't have any dark secrets. In fact, you're quite dull. The only dark secret you did have was the fact that you were in love with my boyfriend. The way you pined after him made me feel sick. And I started to see Ninian do the same, and I knew that I had to get rid of you.
And to do that, you needed Excalibur to complete the frame up of Amber.
Yes, only it never left her sight. Wherever Amber went, Excalibur went with her.
So you had to find some way to distract her. You used the one thing Amber wanted most. Ash.
That explains the loss of memory Ash experienced.
Alyssa was the last person before Ash lost his memory.
You little bits. You used the magic Guinevere to put you to a spell that. Tell me, did you use a love spell or some other kind of charm?
It was a glamour spell. I made him believe that Amber was me. So all that time he was making love to Amber, he thought he was making love to me.
How could you use me like that?
I had to, Ash. It was the only way I could rid you of Ninian and Amber.
Ah. And while Amber's attention was focused elsewhere, Alyssa then took the opportunity to sneak into her room, steal Excalibur, and then sneak out again without being noticed.
Yes, except I was seen.
Seen by who?
Ash.
Oh, well, that was a surprise. Sure. You know, with one Alyssa under him and another one across the room. I wonder if the ball boy was confused. More so than usual.
I had to put another spell on him to erase his memory. That's why he doesn't remember anything.
But his loss of memory served your purposes admirably. By not remembering his night with Amber, he couldn't alibi her. Now all you had to do was leave Excalibur behind to implicate Amber, and the council could be tricked into thinking she killed Ninian. She would have to die.
And then Ash and I could be together forever. No one would stand in our way.
Twisted. You know that, right?
Did it but us, Ash?
Did it no one by yourself, Alyssa? Can't believe I'm so wrong about you.
Me too.
course, yeah.
Alyssa, by order of the Shadow Council, you are hereby sentenced to
Hold on a moment. As a member of the Shadow Council, I have the right to my clemency to go and avoid you. I'm going to revoke that right. By doing so, Alyssa, I bound you to me, since I'm without water at the moment, I'll teach you this position.
What if I refuse?
Then it'll be off your head.
Since you put it that way, I accept.
I think she's gonna wish she was dead.
I heard that.
So then let us be going, for we must make preparations for the binding ritual.
what about Amber?
She is the keeper of Excalibur. Might come in useful. Besides, it appears Queen Guinevere is in need of a new warden. The real Queen Guinevere, that is. Take this false Guinevere away. We should let her sister decide her fate once we find her.